we're facing up to a different world from maybe what we expected and the world that we constructed our ideal visions for the future around. Right. So I'm just trying to show up here kind of like authentically, super authentically in solidarity with TikTok, which is the most authentic of the apps and platforms that we have. I mean, I'm not even on TikTok. Like, I don't post. I am on TikTok. I don't post to TikTok, but I love it and spend like more time watching TikToks than I do doing, many other things that I should do. But I think I've learned a lot from TikTok. Like, I've definitely like expanded my mind and perceptions, and I've also had fun. So, and I like the fact that, yeah, you can, like, people do get on TikTok and they just chat about things kind of like unstructured, unfiltered. They don't necessarily feel the pressure to like look all perfect and have like a perfect background and perfect lighting and make it all cinematic and beautiful, rejecting the over aestheticization of content online. And that's it. So yeah, unpolished is what I'm going for. Yeah, like I like I normally am, like a picture of polished. Yeah, right. Anyway, maybe I should have posted there instead, but also maybe like it's good that I didn't, because then, I mean, is it going to get banned in like 9 days? I don't know. I hope not. Like, I'm going to hold out hope and think it's not over till it's over, but I mean, I guess like people say the writing on the wall is there, and that's really like demoralizing. Yeah, I mean, my thoughts are really just all over the place right now. Like, what can I say? I mean, I have just spent most of the past week or so just watching coverage of wildfires in LA. Like, I mean, watching people going back to their burnt out homes and crying with these people I've never met, because it's just so horrible and I can't even imagine what that would feel like. And I mean, as someone who's like really attached, like emotionally attached to my stuff, it's unbelievable. And I know, like, people are like, well, why do people care so much about this disaster and not care so much about other disasters? It's like, I know this is not like the only tragedy happening in the world right now. This is not like the only natural disaster that has deprived people of their homes and livelihoods and possessions and lives in some cases. But I don't know. I just think, like, kind of thinking about this one, I think this is one of the first times, at least I personally have really seen into the heart of like climate change and climate catastrophe, and have really seen like not firsthand, oh my God. And I feel like really bad for people. Feel really bad for people who are affected. And I don't really know what else I can say about that. Like, I don't think there's much more I can say or do. Like, I'm just like here in Michigan. And I mean, it's gotten me thinking about a lot of stuff just in my life, and especially in this phase of my life where I'm trying to figure out things for the future. And it's gotten me thinking about a lot of like climate related issues in that regard. So because you see, as someone who's moved around a lot, I've always really found it motivating to think about other places I could possibly live. And I'm always fantasizing about other places I could go. Where could I go and change my whole life? How would it be? What would it do to me? When I think about my ideal way of life, I mean, and obviously, like, this is going to all be really rich coming from me, who has not brought in like any income in a couple of months now. And but it is what it is, and I'm allowed my fantasies, and you can take it as manifestation or something. I'm trying to manifest my dream life here. And so anyway, if I were to like think about my ideal way of being in the world, I think that it would look something like this. So I would still have my home in London, and I would still spend quite a bit of time there, but I would also have an American base, and I would essentially divide time in a way between the two bases. But also, because I don't think I could ever be satisfied with just being in even two places, because like I said, I find it very inspiring, very motivating to be constantly changing locations. Like, I'm the type of person who has like voluntarily decided to like move out of apartments simply because I got bored with the area. And I'm like, I'm a little bored. Like, I know moving's expensive and annoying and impractical, but I think I'm ready to move because that will inspire me. It'll re-inspire me. Like, I'm annoying in that way. Like, it is pretty annoying. Like, I kind of have hated that about myself, because then when I'm in the moving process, I'm like, why am I doing this? But then when I have that first night in the new place, I'm like, oh yeah, this is why I do it. Like, this is the life. Like, walking into that empty room for the first time and being like, I can do whatever I want with this. This could be the key to the future. Yeah, it's great. Anyway, but I couldn't be satisfied with just two places, is what I'm saying. And so what I would also want to do is use those two places as bases for kind of slow travel expeditions. I would go out into the world and maybe spend like months at a time in other locations and just like soak them in and live like a local and see how it is to be there. That's my ideal life. Again, it's all manifestation here at this point. I know this is impractical, but I can dream. I can still dream. Like, at least allow me my dreams. And, I know that I might never actually get to this place. I know that it may never be financially feasible to have this, even though I know some people do have this and much more. So I do sometimes wonder, well, why not me? Why not me? And I don't know. But yeah, this is my dream. And so I've never been to LA, and for a long time, I like really bought into those stereotypes of it being like just this like shallow, superficial movie star, plastic surgery, car culture kind of place. And then really in this past week, I've just gotten a lot more insight into the history, the culture, the architecture, the communities, and have kind of seen this different view of like, I don't know, like the quirky, weird, eccentric, funny side of the place. And the thing is about me, whenever I see like a quirky, fun, eccentric, arty kind of like neighborhood or area or city portrayed in any way, shape, or form, I immediately am like, what would my life be like if I lived there? How would my world and personality change if I lived there? I think this time though, like having these thoughts about a place as I'm learning about it, but also actively watch it going through like a paradigm shifting crisis, it's been a bit of a different experience. I think that what kind of observing everything that's happening this week in LA in this real-time way is really making me just think about kind of the speed at which the world might change and the pace of disasters already, like major disasters. And it creates this question where it's like, how long is this world that we live in going to persist? And how much could I expect to be able to live out this fantasy life that I have in my head? Like, should I even be trying for it? Should I even be like thinking that, yeah, this is something I could really do in the future? Or should I just like manage my expectations and try to just like prioritize, I don't know, some kind of safety and security and stop with like these high-flying notions of what the world could be and just like accept whatever I have in front of me and just deal with it? I don't know. And I mean, like that's where I'm at though, and it's really like, I know that none of these little concerns as well have like they don't hold a candle to what so many other people are experiencing. And like, it's not like I've lost anything. I just am kind of, well, I mean, maybe like, I guess, losing a vision of the future is a loss, but I don't know. I know that I'm coming from a position of like incredible privilege and even talking about any of this. And I know that I haven't just lost everything. In fact, I've lost nothing. Like, I know that I'm fine here. And even if I don't get to live out my idea of the future, like that's okay. Like it's just that it's just one of those things that I'm thinking about. And I think it is one of those things where we're facing up to a different world from maybe what we expected and the world that we constructed our ideal visions for the future around. Like, I think that's really what it is. And I think it's kind of like, it's a matter of being at this point where just everything feels really uncertain. Like, I think it feels uncertain to me, like, personally, like, just in terms of like, what am I doing in life and for work and all of that, and also like what lifestyles are still possible. I guess that's really what I'm thinking about. And I don't know what the future holds, obviously. But I've been feeling a lot in the past several months, and like, it's just kind of been intensified like in the last few days, like, just that I do just feel like I gotta be kind of like making plans, but making plans wisely and with whatever information I do have. And I just don't really know how to do that. And I guess, also me being in my hometown again for like an extended period of time is really like making me think about this too, and how like, ooh, like, this is actually one of those places that's going to be potentially like among the safer ones in the future. And I'm like, ooh, ooh, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, safer in some ways, but also, there is the whole political situation in the US, which is very concerning. So, I mean, it's all just like a confusing mess right now. That's all I've got to say about it. Like, I I don't know what else to say. Like, it's driving me crazy though. Is what I will say. Like, this whole like, just everything is just making me feel so confused, just so very confused. And I know that things will eventually play out as they play out, and stuff will happen, and I will adapt to it. And maybe I don't need to worry so much about planning everything so intensely in advance, and maybe I should just try to become more comfortable with not knowing what the future might hold. And maybe what I really need to take away from this is that I can't plan everything. I can't anticipate everything before it happens. That, maybe all I can do is just make choices that feel right in the moment, and as things happen and as things progress, deal with them then. Let future me deal with the problem. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, maybe though. Maybe there's something to that. Just letting the future you deal with the problem. I don't know. I'm trying to do this like just hyper authentically. My God. It's so hard to film when I live in a house with other people. Because, like, I can try to be authentic, but I still feel really awkward, like, when anyone comes upstairs and I'm